I gotta ask because I've been curious. Maybe you can explain it, right?
Right.
What is up with those pesky black lines that you see
Everywhere I look,
everywhere?
all I see
is the pesky
I think
black
now
lines.
it's just like a white splotch.
or like the
Yeah.
white splotch, or sometimes if they're
Yeah, why does it keep changing?
I think it's, well, I know it's, a very complicated dance with the powers that be.
Okay.
Because they'll come in to a publisher especially and say too much.
Right.
Cut it back.
Right. So
And, yeah.
so you guys put as little as possible to not like anger the people who make up the rules,
right?
right?
People, the publishers keep trying to push the limits, but then there's always pushback.
Yeah.
And like when the Tokyo Olympics were happening, like the build up to that was just more and more censorship.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they got rid of porn magazines from Konbinis, right? Because of that.
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah. That was one of the things that the Tokyo government decided to do. They were like, we're going to have a lot of people coming into Japan, and we don't want people coming here for the first time to walk into a fucking Family Mart and be like, there's a lot of porn mags here next to like all the manga. That's
I never looked at them, but I thought they were still there. But I think it must just be like lewd stuff then.
Yeah, there's a lot of like gravure
okay,
stuff, right?
yeah.
But like the actual like porn magazines, like there was like, usually there's like a curtain, separating, those kinds of like stuff, right? Like in anywhere. But in Konbinis, it was just there
Yeah.
in the
It's
open.
like a
usually
small
right
section,
right next to the toilet.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those things where like you go to the toilet and you take a quick little peek before you go to the toilet.
They were because they were like sellotaped shut.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah,
open
yeah,
them up.
yeah.
They're like
the other
roped
ones.
up, right? No. You will buy it. Yeah, so they're like, that was one of the things where they were just like, we're just gonna eradicate porn mags.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. You hear from different industries how kind of like they went on like a blitz before the Olympics to just try and clean things up.
Right.
and-
Yeah.
To sanitize everything.
Yeah. I mean, they like killed Airbnb. They
Yeah,
did that, and I think they did a few other things as well. I can't remember. They did quite a lot of things. They did so many things.
They put a
There's
lot of English
like
signs on.
foreign pressure to like, just like clean up, like desanitize the whole hentai industry.
It was a shame, really, because it didn't really end up happening.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But it has happened in like, because everything is more online now. Everything has to sort of conform to Western
Global
markets.
standards.
Global
Right.
Global standards. So we can't have like, there used to be a lot more bestiality, but we can't have that anymore.
Oh.
There used to be a lot more loli, you can't have that anymore. There used to be shota, you can't have that anymore.
Yeah, so like, is there any like, so with regards to the censorship, is there any like rules that have been like put down on paper? Like, let's say you have like a penis or a vagina. Is there like a rule to like what part
10% of the
like
penis.
like is there like a rule like of what needs to be blocked out, like 10%, 20% or whatever?
I think like it depends on like what you're talking about, because like usually like if someone's putting a book out in Comic-Ed,
Yeah.
the people who run Comic-Ed will come by in the morning, check your book out, make sure everything's censored to the standards of whatever the hentai industry is doing at the moment.
Right.
So now things have to be pretty blacked out.
Right.
But like 10 years ago, it used to be you have to have a boy like over the tip. You have to have a boy over like the little flange.
That's the scientific term.
Right. And you have to have a boy like somewhere on the shaft.
Right. Like anywhere on the shaft?
Like anywhere on the
Oh,
shaft.
I've seen it just like in the most random places. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, that is doing nothing.
It's like the middle of the shaft, and it's like, I know what's behind that. Yeah, I've always noticed it's always like the tip and the flange.
Right.
yeah.
But then there are some instances where it's just like fucking like just
just
7
whatever.
lines
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
entire
yeah.
shaft.
Zebra, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a zebra cock, and it's like
So now it's more like Minecraft looking.
Yeah.
Like completely blocked out.
yeah, it's like it's like mosaiced, but it's not like fully mosaiced. If it makes sense, you
Well,
like you
like
can still
I've-
make it out.
Like I've seen like a trend recently, which is like the glowy dick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's like the lightsaber, right?
It's like you can make like a faint outline of the cock somewhere around here.
It is so weird whenever you get that scene whenever the girl takes off the trousers and it's just like a glowing dick.
Yeah.
And it's just the most surreal thing. I don't know who started this trend or how this trend started. But
Someone
yeah.
should like make a scene where like the light source is coming from that dick. So it works with the censorship. It's like,
It's no censorship here.
yeah.
My dick just closed.
Have you ever had to come up with any creative ways to come around to get past the censorship?
Well,
Anything
you
like
know,
that?
the easiest way is like, just work the angles so you don't have to show as much.
Right. I feel like also like depending on like what angles you choose, it like some are even better if you don't like just completely.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Give all the
Sometimes it's
details.
just like better if you don't see anything.
Yeah.
It's paradoxical, but like sometimes like you don't.
Less is
like,
more.
Yeah, less
Yeah.
is more. Like not seeing the face is sometimes sexier than seeing the face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. Like, how do you, I guess, how do you direct your own sex scenes? You know, like, how do you know what looks hot, or is it just kind of like you look at other references and you're like, that looks kind of good, or that?
There's a tempo to it. Like you can't have like money shot, because like it just blends all together.
Yeah.
So you need like like downtime, money shot. Stuff like that.
Right.
Although I've read a lot of dojins where it's just like 7-page mooder of money shots. You know, it's like, bruh, like how is this man's balls not exploded at this point? It's like that's a lot.
So you mentioned obviously censoring from the government, but is it ever hard when you're trying to, dealing with almost self-censorship? Like you're ever like, is this too much? I don't know. Fuck.
Well, personally, I try to like push boundaries.
Right.
Like whatever makes me feel uncomfortable. Like sometimes I try to delve into that just to like, get a feeling for
Right.
myself, basically.
Yeah. Do you feel like that uncomfortable feeling enhances your story? Is that what you would say?
I think it
kinda
makes it
like-
more interesting, at
Yeah.
least.
But you're not doing it like purely for like shock factor. or
It's not
anything like
shock factor. It's just like to catch my own interest. And like,
that. Right.
it's not for any like deeper meaning, really. But like, I mean, I think it makes the work more like unique and
Spicy.
just a little spicy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you said that I guess overseas norms affect how Japanese censors, because
Right.
normally people are under the impression that Japan doesn't give a fuck what the outside world thinks.
I mean, the standard anime industry definitely is the
yeah.
case, right?
It's strange if the anime industry doesn't care, but then I guess if to hear that the aero stuff kind of maybe is more affected by what other countries think and what
I think maybe it's because like the doujin industry actually cares for the like international community. Maybe.
Even like the normal anime stuff, like they're remaking Urusei Yatsura, right?
Yeah.
And like one of the first scenes is like a booby shot. of
Yeah.
Rama.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Are we gonna conform to like global standards, or are we just gonna go with the 80s?
Right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
complete remake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like when you make your work, do you have to keep this into account, or is
I
it?
try not to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's fantasy, right? So like,
Yeah.
like,
it's got to be annoying to talk about. Right?
yeah. I mean, like,
You're like,
it's like, this conversation. I've had this one like before more than once.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about like making something and like make it like, because it's not socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think when it's art, right, it has to be done tastefully or appropriately, right? For
Yeah.
people to be like, okay, you need to have stories about stuff like this because it happens,
Like
whether
I
they-
don't necessarily personally agree with it, but I'm okay with it
because
existing.
obviously
kind of
as an
thing,
artist and an author, your characters aren't you. Right?
Yeah,
They're there to represent something and to
Right.
push a storyline. And just because you write about a story, I think anyone, I don't really agree with people like, you can't write about X topics. It's like, no. I mean, if this stuff happens in real life, it happens in real life.
Yeah.
Why shy away from it? Horrible stuff happens all the time. You should be able to write a story about it. Obviously, there are some people who do it not tastefully at all.
Yeah.
But the argument I hear a lot is that it normalizes the act. Right?
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
No, I disagree.
I disagree
I
too,
disagree.
but like I hear it a lot.
Yeah.